about a week ago, or Friday a week ago, I got on trial, some hearing aids from my audiologist. And she said I could try these hearing aids out. And actually, I just changed cameras, and here are the hearing aids. They're the two hearing aids I got, a left one and a right one, and also a little device which allows you to recharge the hearing aids. These ones have rechargeable batteries compared to my last ones where I had to put batteries in. Okay, back to me again. All right. The trouble with these hearing aids was there was no when I got them is when the audiologist installed them for me. She said, "Oh, you can install it and have an app on your phone," and this is the app down the bottom of the screen here. Okay, and it allows you to control the hearing aid. But in addition to that, you can also have receive and go process your phone calls through your hearing aid, which would be good. It means you don't have to hold the phone up to my ear, and also it means the quality of the sound is much better because the hearing aid's adjusting it. And secondly, anything that comes up on my phone that's normally streamed on my phone, like my music, right, or YouTube or NewPipe or things like that I use, the sound can come directly through my hearing aids. Even a TV or other Bluetooth devices can come through my hearing aids, and that's really good. The trouble is, we couldn't get that last part of it working. I could get the app working, and to get the app working, but then I couldn't get it to go the phone streaming or phone function to go through hearing aid. Or if I uninstalled the app, right, and I did it manually via Bluetooth, which I could show in a minute, right, then I could get that to work, but then the app wouldn't work. Just by the way, to show you how you can do things in Bluetooth, a lot of people are under the impression if you swipe down, for example, twice, and then I go to over here to Bluetooth, they think that's how you set up Bluetooth. Well, it isn't, by the way. That's just switching Bluetooth on and off. You have to go down here into settings, right? And then you have to go to, where are we? Right up at the top, Bluetooth and devices, okay? And that's where that's where you switch on and off Bluetooth. But going to Bluetooth, this is where you you set up various devices, right? I had actually done them before, so I'll just switch all these off so that I'll forget them, all right? Forget the device, do that one, and forget the device again. So it's as if we haven't had the device on before or have actually set them set up. All right, so how do you set them up? And by the way, that's another thing. If you try and set it up and you've already set it up, it won't do it, right? You've got to have the devices forgotten. Okay, so coming back to me, right? So how do you do it? Well, what I did, first of all, this is the audiologist did for me. She went through and said, "Rightio, you go into the app, right? And it says pair a device." I'll just make it a bit smaller, so very small up in the top right-hand corner, so you can see what I'm doing. So I'll say pair the device. So when you do that, it says this allows you to do all the various things so you can adjust your hearing aids settings via the device. Let's get started. We get started. Instruct, and it says, please restart your hearing aids to enable Bluetooth pairing. Make sure your hearing aid batteries are fresh and fully charged before pairing. So now the reason this happens is Bluetooth devices, most Bluetooth devices have to be in what's called pairing mode to connect to another device. So to do that, it tells you how to do that. I've got rechargeable batteries, and basically says press a button on the side of the phone. So I could do that. I'll show you what it looks like, but I'm not going to do it that way. I'll do it another way, which has been recommended to me. Just change cameras again. All right. There's little buttons on the side there. You press that button and you hold it down for a certain number of seconds, and it switches the phone off, the hearing aid off. But then I've got to do it with the other one. An easier way is just to put it into the charging port. When you put it into the charging port, what happens is it starts charging it and actually switches the hearing aids off as soon as you put it into the charging port. So when you take them out and it restarts it in pairing mode. Okay, so that's fully understandable. I fully understand that. Okay, so we'll close all that. We're going to continue. right? So I take the two devices out, right? You'll notice a little green light flashes, okay? When it stops flashing, in a minute, it's not going to stop flashing. There we are, stop flashing. And then it comes up and says the right hearing aid and the left hearing aid. So they both stop flashing. I touch that, right? And then it goes and looks to pair it, and a message comes up on your phone, pairing request. Now it's very important. Oh, there's a problem. I missed the pairing request and I can't pair it, so as a consequence it's not going to work. So you've got to actually touch it within a certain period of time. That's another thing that people mess up. So back I go, putting things back in there. All right, I'll come back out of that. Okay. All right. Okay, so I'll put the phones back in. All right. Let's come out again. So take it out. Okay. Things finish. Okay. I'll continue. All right. All right. Let's see if it says devices found. Yes, there's one of them. That's the other one. Now I touch that. Okay. It says pairing request. I have to say pair and connect. And it says pair it, which I've done. A second time, it'll come up and say pair request. Okay. And I have to pair and connect. So that's probably one of the problems a lot of people have, that unless you do it, you touch that thing or touch that screen within a certain time, it doesn't work. And it says, would you like to enable hearing aid controls for calling and streaming? So I'll touch that and see what happens. Okay. It says enable phone calls, audio streaming and tap control, right? So it says open settings. So I click on open settings. I'll just make this screen smaller, all right? And it takes me to this screen, all right? Okay. And looks like it's installed all three of them at once. And in the past, it hasn't done that. It didn't install that one there. That one there is what's necessary for opening the settings and making them available, okay? Available devices. Available devices, it's repeating a lot of them a couple of times. I don't know what that means, it's going to mean. Anyway, the situation when I tried to do that, it said it didn't actually work. And the reason, by the way, this is a bit more complicated than I thought it was going to be, than it had before, because things are coming up in different orders now. Why I've got two sets of hearing aids, I don't know. I don't know what the implication it's going to have. But the basic thing is, when I was doing it before, each time I did it, I couldn't pair the devices again, because I discovered what seems to be the case, that unless you do everything very, very quickly, all right, now all of a sudden it says, it's jumped back and it says, all right, those two are currently connected, all right, and it says previously connected. Okay, but the thing that's not connected is the ability to make phone calls. So to do that, what you have to do is pair a new device, and you touch that. If you do that and just touch that, usually nothing happens, all right? In this case, something has happened, right? And the previous times, nothing came up. So it just goes to show you, this is very, very, very finicky. Nothing came up at all in the previous times. In fact, sorry, it has come up. It says the left and the right hearing aid. But if I did that, it's just going to go through the pair process again. What I needed to come up with is what's a third thing which allows you to do the streaming, and that's not there. You'll notice it was there before, but it's disappeared. And the reason it's disappeared is because it's probably more than 3 minutes now from the time I first started the thing up until the time I did it. Or alternately, the time I first reset the hearing aids until now. Or alternatively, what's happened is after it does the initial pairing, it switches off the pairing mode. So if I want to do it again, I have to do it a second time. I have to place, just going back here, a second time I have to put the hearing aids back into the holder. All right, okay, and then go back to the app, which does it, or you don't have to do this with the app. You can actually do it in the Bluetooth settings. Take it out again. Take them out again. So put them in, take them out. A number of times I put them in and take it out. It's incredible. Okay, and then go to the that part of the app again. The app's not going to do it. It says stay connected or stay connected. All right. Okay. All right. Go to the devices. Okay. Hearing aid settings, streaming settings. I'm going to go into streaming settings. Okay. Open the settings. And now I say pair new device. And there we are. It comes up. That one comes up. Okay. That's a new device because the other ones are already on there. If I touch that, it says pairing. Hopefully it's going to pair. No, it's still pairing. Still pairing. Still pairing. Why is it not pairing? And then it says connected. Okay, it took a while. Now it comes up and says this is available on media devices. Now, and only now, I can use the phone and stream and use the app at the same time. We'll just go back and go back to the app. All right. Okay. All right. It says see how. I don't need to worry about that. All right. Let's just go back to the app again. If I go back and I go back to the home screen, safe information. I don't want to show that again. Okay. So I've now got all the functions of the app running as well as being able to make phone calls. I'll just check at making a phone call. Or go into the phone. I'll put one hearing aid in my ear, all right, so I can hear it. All right. Okay. Go back to making a phone call. Okay, make a phone call. Dial a false number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I can hear it coming through my hearing aid, which means it's good. Press call. Okay, so it actually went through my hearing aid. Okay, righto. So hopefully I'm recording the last of this. So that's it. The big thing, and I probably need to write this down somewhere and put this in the comments. You need to you need to switch off and switch on the hearing aids 2 times. And another time to make it work, the phone and the streaming work. It's got to be done 2 times and has to be done. Make sure that's complete. Just to fill you in, I even contacted the Phonak people. They took me through all the process. They were able to solve the problem for me. So my suggestion to Phonak is they change the directions on this screen so that, I'll get rid of that. Move that over to the white, move that smaller. So that when it tells you to pair the devices, it should say in big letters there, every time you have to reset, you have to put it into pairing mode, because either the pairing mode expires in terms of time, or the pairing mode gets switched off by the fact that you've already paired it. So that's the problem, and that's the issue I was having. Alternatively, they should make it so that the pairing mode just stays on. It looks like it did at one stage there, but unless you do respond very, very quickly, it doesn't do it. So it's a matter of getting the responses at the right time, and that seems to be a problem. I've got other issues with the hearing aids, but that will be in a separate video if I do one. Anyway, any questions, email me.